those of you crammed in the corner, we have a lot more, well, not a lot, but some spaces, 3 spaces left here for someone who wants to sit down. It's been a week today, exactly a week, that we buried Ryan at the Lakeview Cemetery, close to the places that were dearest to his heart, in a surrounding that his grandparents and parents had created for him to live and thrive, to feel loved and sheltered every day, to have everything he could possibly have in this world, knowing that his family, his friends, his entire network of supporters, teachers, mentors, family, friends were there to hold him. I said this at the beginning of the funeral, and I'm going to repeat it today, on the 8th day after the funeral. We are here for 3 reasons, but the reasons today have shifted since I said this the first time. We're here, and I know many of you are here for the first time because you weren't in Shetek. We're here to say goodbye to Ryan. We believe that souls part slowly, and that our ability to wish them well on their way, to be ready to say goodbye, contributes to the ease of them leaving. But maybe the main reason we are here today is that we're going to support Bruce, Christy, and Taylor. I want to say one thing. What has happened to this family should never happen to any family in this world. It is the greatest heartbreak and the biggest weight to carry. I saw one thing just before we started, and that was Christy and Bruce holding hands. And I believe that this family is capable of walking this way. It will only be able to do so with you. So the main and biggest reason that we're here today is that we're here for you, for the 3, for the 5, for the 6 of you, to give you the love and the support that you have received already in abundance and that you will need in the days and weeks and months to come. We finished the first week, the week of busyness and blurriness. We are entering a period that we call Shloshim, 30, the first month. This is a tender moment. It's a moment when this family is starting to make the first steps into a life after. Because this is what this will be, a life after. Let's do this with them together. Please rise, and for those of you who have a prayer book, we are on page 146. And for those of you who have never been to a Jewish service, we are rising in order to face God, our responsibilities, and the tasks that are set in front of us. Page 146. Baruch hu et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch Adonai hamevorach le'olam va'ed. Praised is God's name forever and ever. Please be seated. In the midst of brokenness, of everything that seemed normal, it is oddly comforting sometimes to watch the sunrise, sunset, stars appear, clouds move over the sky. The world never stops, no matter what happens to us in our lives. There is something oddly comforting about this, to know that the next day will come, the next night, and that we will walk again. Page 148. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, el chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai ha'ma'ariv aravim. With eternal love, does God love us? It doesn't stop. In moments when we're angry and we don't understand how something like death has a space in creation, we don't know why we're saying these prayers. The greatest wisdom of our tradition was to put them in front of us no matter what has happened, and to say the words, with eternal love has God loved us, and one day you'll feel it again. To pause at this moment of the service. 10 years ago, Ryan stood here on the day of his bar mitzvah. On the day of our bar mitzvahs, we say for the first time the Shema, and the entire congregation responds. We're going to do this today again. I'm going to say it first, and you're going to repeat. Like many of you have done this 10 years ago. This is the last sentence traditionally Jews say before they die. It is the last sentence we say to them when we leave. This is going to be our farewell to Ryan. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך
היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. Page 158.
מי כמוך? Who is like you, God? A song that is sung as the dawn breaks when the Israelites reach the other side, a side of safety. In the Jewish story, just 2 weeks before Ryan died, we started the story again. We finished the Torah and we opened the book of Genesis, like we do every year. Every year we read the same story. Every year it's the same story. Every now and then in our lives we need to begin anew, and it's a completely different book. It's a completely different chapter. And we will do it again. Mi chamocha, who is like you?
Mi chamocha, ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha, nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osef ele. מלכותך ובניך, בוקר ים לפני משה ומרים. זה לי, ענו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר כפתה אדוני את יעקב, גלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך. אתה אדוני גל ישראל.
The next minutes are silent. It's a silent prayer of blessings, praises, petitions. I do want to invite you, for those of you who might be less familiar, or for those of you for whom this doesn't sound right, flip the first page of the booklet that you received and look at that picture of Ryan. This is the lake, and this is Yeti, his dog, who is now going to live with us in Bozeman. Look at his face. Ryan had so many incredibly happy moments in his life. And I want to invite you in the next moments of silence, bring these moments back. Remember this smile. Remember this body entering the room. Remember this voice saying something or not responding when you wanted him to. Remember this person. Please rise for the Amidah. '74.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Ose shalom emuma, uyase shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imu imu amen. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imu amen. Please be seated. Do you still see that smile? Do you still hear that voice? Can you still picture what it looked like when Ryan entered the room or ran across a lawn? We're going to hear from 4 people who knew Ryan maybe better than many others. We're doing this because there's something that is better than a gravestone. It is our memory. It is how we remember the name, the sound of a voice, the life, the messages that we received from a person. The first person to share is Bruce Jacobs, Ryan's dad.
Wow. Thanks, I think. This is amazing. Looking around this room at how many people are here, we can only say thank you. But now I'll try and read what I wrote. I guess this is where I'm supposed to observe that for many of you, the last time you were in this building was for Ryan's bar mitzvah. I wish this were a happier occasion. Exactly 2 weeks ago, Christy and I were traveling to the lake for fall cleanup. There were leaves to rake, a lot of leaves, and a variety of things that needed to happen before the first snow. 10 days later, we flew back, our lives forever changed, with our hearts much heavier and only having finished some of the chores on the list. Ryan's death will forever change us, but it will not define us. So please, grieve with us, share with us, and empathize with us. But don't pity us. We had a life with our son. He will be missed. But as I start today, I want to share a couple of stories. Here's the first one. It was just a few days after Ryan had passed, and a childhood friend of Christy's, Sally Ortiz, drove up from Chicago to be with us. I wasn't there when she arrived. But as she would later tell me, she spent over 5 hours in the car driving to the lake, saw Christy, and the first words out of her mouth were, "How are you doing?" She told me she felt like an idiot. How could the best thing she'd come up with after 5 hours in a car by herself be, "How are you doing?" But it's not her fault. There are no words. As I was thinking about it later, I realized it's actually a good thing that there are no words. That means that we, as a society, have decided that we shouldn't be able to describe this feeling. I'm good with that. Around the same time, I was out in a kayak paddling around the island on the lake. It was a picture-perfect day. Fall colors were in full bloom. There was literally no one on the lake but me. It's normally a 45-minute paddle, but it took about an hour and 15 minutes because I kept stopping to cry. After one of the times that I stopped to cry, I called my friend Neil Spear, who lost his daughter over a decade ago. We were now members of the same shitty club. I asked him a simple question: how do I get through this? I asked him how you have a lasting memory being something other than finding Ryan in his bed. His answer was special. He told me that the way he dealt with it was that every time that type of memory came up for him, he beat it down and covered it with positive memories. Memories of his daughter, Sam, that made him smile and laugh. It was the perfect advice at the ideal time. And helped me see that there was a light way at the end of the tunnel. I'm pretty sure, no, I'm actually certain it's not a train. I think it was the next day, I was on the phone with Brittany Peters. She had sent me a note, so I called her. She was telling me that everyone at Thrive was there to help us with whatever we needed. I adore and respect the hell out of BP. I think the feeling is mutual. As we talked, we discussed the thought of accepting help from folks. I'm not good at accepting help from folks. As a family, we're the ones that are supposed to be giving help, not receiving it. So why am I focusing on these stories? You see, as I was calling people to tell them what happened and ruining their day, they were springing into action. It didn't matter whether it was someone who truly knew Ryan and what he had gone through. They were going to get Christy Taylor and me through it. We just had to be willing to accept the help. So I need to take some time today to say thank you. I need to say thank you to the members of the Anderson School community for stepping up in so many ways. I need to say thank you to the members of the Beth Shalom community, and specifically to the Rabbi, Mansfields, Steph Laurie, and Seth and Cassie. I'm sure most of you are floored, but there isn't a significant Jewish presence in Northwest Wisconsin. But we managed to have a Jew-ish service in Chautauqua last Thursday. I need to say thank you to the Bozeman community, and particularly Lucy McCausland and Christy Gaines. We moved here as complete outsiders in February of 2010. Our ties were Christy's cousin Mike and the dailies. That was the entire list. The love and support that this community has shown lets us know that we are no longer outsiders, but are truly a part of this community. I need to say thank you to the folks at Blacksford and LD. It's truly touching to know that the businesses with which I am involved aren't just businesses, they're family. I need to say thank you to the members of our Manhattan Beach community, the Groovy Girls and the Lost Boys. These are folks that showed up. Many we haven't seen in years, but they are truly friends, and that means something. I need to say thank you to Meg and Joe Romano. I can't count the number of ways that you and your family matter. I need to say thank you to two of my closest friends, Jake Werner and Tim Layden, who reached out to me every day to check in and make sure that I was going to be okay. In fact, I need to thank the entire Werner clan, period. I also need to thank my family, and particularly say thank you to one of my closest friends and now stepbrother, Jeff Katz, for standing next to me and shoveling the remaining dirt onto my son's casket last Thursday. I'm certain I've forgotten people, but I'm going to stop here. So why that? I'm fond of saying that I don't have a lot of friends. I know a lot of people. I have a lot of acquaintances, but the word friend means something. I've learned in the last 2 weeks that I actually do have a lot of friends. Even in death, Ryan keeps teaching me that I can be wrong. Thank you for teaching me that, Ryan. Now I'd like to talk a little bit about Ryan. Let's start with an overview of Ryan's diagnosis. He combined major depressive disorder with being on the spectrum. Being on the spectrum brings with it tremendous rigidity. In a family where everything is gray, Ryan lived in black and white. Now let's just add a little attention deficit disorder for flavor. And just in case that wasn't enough, we'll throw in general anxiety disorder for kicks. For the teachers in the room, I will add that Ryan was twice exceptional with 3 standard deviations between his IQ and his processing speed. And no, that's not a good thing. This is what Ryan had to deal with every day. Oh, and just in case you were wondering, he got the stubbornness from my side of the family. Taylor and I have it too, and yes, Christy is a saint. But that isn't who Ryan was. It's what he had to deal with every day. And carrying that weight, he got out of bed every single day, or at least most of them. Ryan didn't want to be a burden on us. That was perhaps the most maddening thing about him. He always felt like he should be able to handle it on his own. A couple of Ryan stories. I'm going to start with one I wasn't actually there for. I believe it was San Diego Air Show. Ryan must have been 3 or 4 years old. He went with his grandfather and his cousin, Uncle Mike. As the story has been relayed to me, just as they were walking into the show, Mike looked at Ryan and said, "Ooh, jet truck." Picked up, Ryan's eyes lit up. He picked up Ryan, and off they went running to watch the jet truck run down. I will forever in my own mind have that picture of Ryan and the delight in his eyes as he went to go see a jet truck. It's probably an understatement to say I am not a baseball fan. So of course, my son loved baseball. Ryan wasn't an awesome baseball player, but he loved the game. In a tournament in Helena, the team didn't play particularly well. So in the last game, they decided to pitch kids who didn't usually pitch. That included Ryan. Prior 2 pitchers couldn't find the strike zone with a map, so they handed the ball to Ryan with the bases loaded and nobody out. As John Barnes handed Ryan the ball and asked him if he was ready, Ryan responded, "I've got these fools." He proceeded to retire the next 3 batters while only allowing a single run to score. At least, that's how I remember it. He killed it, no earned runs. I'll offer one last story. For the last summer, I've spent quite a bit of time at our lake house in Wisconsin. Or, I'm sorry, family lake house in Wisconsin. I didn't acquire it. Often it was just Ryan and me with Steve and Nancy. And just about every day, Ryan and I would take out the surf boat. Anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour and a half. Just him and me. We wouldn't be having deep conversations. We'd just be spending time together, laughing at each other and listening to music. And doing our favorite thing, screwing around on boats. The boy was awesome. Despite his mental health battles, when you met him, he brought a smile to your face. He was funnier than you expect, equally goofy, the best person he knew how to be. Ryan affected lives. Even when we all thought that we were helping him, in reality, he was helping us. Whether it was teaching us, and by that I mean me, that we could actually be wrong in our preconceptions, or forcing us to learn how to confront our own feelings, and by that I mean Taylor and me. Ryan forced us all to become better people. As with so many things, though, Ryan was the one who got to choose. In the early part of grappling with Ryan's challenges, Christy and I were focused on keeping him safe. But at base, that was basically him existing. Eventually, Ryan was going to have to choose to live, to choose to look to the future. Because anything else would be about us, not about him. Taylor and Ryan have constantly forced Christy and I into decisions where we had to remind ourselves that it wasn't about us, it was about them. And that we had to make the decision that was right for our children. In giving Ryan that choice, he got to choose how he lived and ultimately how he died. And I have to respect and honor with that, no matter how much I hate it. Let me be clear. We have no guilt. Because we know that we did everything we possibly could to help Ryan. And if we aren't feeling any guilt, I want to say that no one else is allowed to feel guilt either. Any one of Ryan's therapists would tell me that I'm not allowed to tell people how they should feel. I don't care. I'm going to do it anyway. But the most important thing is that each one of us gets to choose how we remember Ryan. And this is what I choose. I choose to believe that Ryan was the toughest of all of us. That on a day-to-day basis, he carried more weight than any of us could possibly fathom. I choose to believe not that Ryan died too soon, but rather that he was part of this world for far longer than any of us had a right to hope. I choose to believe that while he frustrated me to no end, all I will eventually remember is the fun that I had with Ryan. I choose to believe that I am stronger because of Ryan. I choose to believe that we are all better for having known Ryan. I choose to believe that Ryan died knowing he was loved. I choose to believe that, as our Scottish friend Margaret Quinn said, a tortured soul is at peace. I choose to believe that what matters is not how you died, but how you lived. I choose to believe that there's a hole in my heart that will never be filled. I choose to believe that because I am surrounded by those that matter, tomorrow will be a brighter day, and that Christy, Taylor, and I will be okay together, because that's what Ryan would have wanted. I choose to believe that laughter, irreverence, and sarcasm solves everything, even when I want to curl into a ball and cry. With that said, I wish I could believe that he would be walking through the door. It's hard to believe that this is real. I will miss calling and texting Ryan in the middle of a game. I will miss jumping in the boat with Ryan to surf. I will miss him learning to snowboard because that's what he was going to do this winter. I will miss our future trips to Africa. I will miss him when I have to open and close the lake. Because I don't really want to crawl onto the side of the But most of all, I will miss Ryan's hugs. The ones where he felt like he was hugging you with his soul. I'll miss you, Bubba.
Ellie Lewis, Ryan's friend.
My freshman year of college lacrosse, my teammates told me that when it got hard to just drink water because you couldn't cry. So I'm just going to treat this like a run test. I know it's been a while. I've been away at college, so hi, everyone. For those of you who haven't seen me in a long time, or maybe you don't recognize me, I'm Ellie Lewis. I've known Ryan since I was 10 years old. We met on swim team, actually, another athletic thing he was doing at the time. We swam together for the 4th and 5th grade seasons. I couldn't tell you how we met. My mom told me we were in the same lane. I just know that by the end of 4th grade, we were like best friends. And we did a lot of stuff together. We ended up going to the same middle school. We went to SAC together, and we ran a ton of classes. Even though we weren't on swim team anymore, I was playing lacrosse and he was playing baseball. We hung out all the time. We had a really great group of friends. And then Ryan told me he was going to go to boarding school. And he started touring all these schools, and I was like, shit. And so I started watching this show called Zoe 101. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. It's about boarding school and a lot of other things. And I decided I have to go to boarding school. I didn't get in. Ryan was really bad at calling me. I always called him, but he knew when to text me. And so my freshman year, when things were really, really rough, I got this text, and it was like, hey, how you doing? And I was like, how'd you know? I was laying on the floor of my dorm room having what I call a floor cry because I had failed the run test the first time. This is what I'm treating this as. He always knew when to text, and he knew I was going through it. And he listened to all of my frustrations. He was such a good listener, but he knew when to tell me to shut up. He listened to my frustrations about coaches, teammates, myself when I wasn't meeting my performance standards. He listened to me talk much later about my conversion process, which has been shockingly difficult. He never got tired of it, and I genuinely don't know how. It's shocking. He was the person who was there for me when I overcame my own mental health struggles as a college athlete. He knew exactly how to make me remember there is joy in this world, and it's better to be a little sad in bed than not happy. Emotions come and go, he would tell me. He knew the best places to eat, what to order, and he would always get dessert because we were both dessert people, always have been. He really was one of my best friends, and I will carry him with me for the rest of my life. Oh my God. I just want to say thank you, Bruce, Christy, and Taylor, for everything. You're like family to me, and I'm so happy I was able to know you through him. So, as much as I will miss our bi-monthly phone calls, family dinners, drunk Monopoly games, sorry, Bruce, there's some wine missing. I know I said I wouldn't say anything. It's not my fault. I loved him so much, and I know that he also loved me and everyone here. He was such a joy. He was a joy to be around, sometimes. Many people in my life have told me that to be loved is to be changed. I'm definitely changed. And Ryan has changed me and everyone whose lives he has touched for the better for the rest of our lives. So, I just want to say thank you, and thank you for being my forever friend, my favorite drunk dial, my best dinner buddy, foodie friend, and for being in my life and my family's life. He will be very, very missed. I want to thank everyone for coming today, even if it is not the best circumstances. And thanks for listening to me ramble. You can't tell me to shut up, only he can.
Jack Snow, another friend of Ryan.
Hi, everyone. I still remember the first day that I met Ryan. It was in 6th grade, and the first thing that anyone would be able to tell you about Ryan Jacobs in 6th grade is that he wanted to rule the world. Really, he had plans and everything. He kept them. He kept them in his science notebook. He was a kid with a lot of aspirations and a lot of dreams, a lot of dreams of greatness. He aspired to be a great man. He looked up to a lot of great men. He looked up to conquerors and rulers of old. He was obsessed with Hannibal and Carthage. He was obsessed with Caesar and Rome. He was obsessed with Alexander and Macedonia and Asia Minor to like a weird amount for a 12-year-old. But there was something in all of that that I think he missed at the time. Something that I hope he gained wisdom on later in his life, which is that that's not what we need. The world has had enough greatness. It has had enough kings and emperors and czars. What we need is what he had, because that wasn't him. He had goodness in him. And the world has had enough of greatness. Goodness is what it needs. He had the goodness to love and to care and to be compassionate and to be a friend and to be a brother and a son in a way that I don't know if I've ever seen before, and I don't know if I will ever see again. So even though he dreamed that his legacy would be words in history books that no one would ever read because they would get the Spark Notes online, his true legacy is far greater. His legacy is and always will be alive in the hearts of those he touched, in the hearts of every single person in this room. And the way that he cared for us and the way that he made us better and the lessons that he taught us, that was his goodness. And that joy and those lessons that we can now take with us and give to our loved ones and to the people in our lives, and that they will hopefully bring to the people after them and after them and after them for all eternity. So even if he is not immortalized in statues in ancient Greece, he will forever be eternal to us, and the effects of his actions and the warmth of his love will be felt forever, because that was him. That was his goodness. And that is why he was special. That was his power, was his love. His conquest was of the heart. And that is why he was one of my best friends. Thank you all so much for being here.
Christy Jacobs, Ryan's mom.
You all know I don't need the mic.
No, you do for the people.
I know. I need it for the outside thing. First, I want to start by thanking everyone for being here and echo all of the thank yous that Bruce shared. The support Bruce, Taylor, and I have received from across the country and literally around the world has been truly amazing. Plus, to be honest, somewhat overwhelming. We are incredibly grateful to our families, my parents, and all of our communities for providing so much love during this incredibly difficult time. I find myself in strange waters. As all of you know in this room, it is much easier for me to offer and provide support than it is to receive it. But these past 2 weeks, I've had to let that go, and will continue to have to let that go over the coming months as we continue to grieve the loss of our sweet boy, Ryan. Letters have always been a way our family has communicated, from my mom using them to tell me what she thinks of me when I was a teenager, to Bruce and I using them to communicate when we dated long distance for 4 years. I decided today to write a letter to Ryan to express my thoughts and my feelings. Dearest Bubba, to say I've missed you greatly over the past 2 weeks would be an understatement. When I came into our house at the lake, I was looking forward to one of your incredible hugs, but instead had to suddenly deal with a very different reality, a reality that we always knew was a possibility intellectually in the back depths of our minds, but one for which you are never prepared to handle. You would be amazed by me the last few weeks, because I've been incredibly quiet. Quieter than I've ever been in my entire life. I truly have had no words. Bruce has been on the phone, talking to everyone he knows. I couldn't even get on the phone. I struggle to talk with individuals and really express any type of coherent thought. Since your passing, I just feel this incredible heaviness, and my heart is absolutely shattered. The 20 years of your life was split down the middle, with the first half being full of joy, engaging in every opportunity presented to you, and filling the world with your amazing smile. As your mother, I took pride in your intelligence and exuberance when you were young. The second half of your life was tumultuous, full of anxiety, you constantly questioning and doubting, and at times so riddled with depression, you were unable to function. As your mother, it broke my heart to watch you struggle on a daily basis. My moods became tied to yours for some of those years. I know this surprises you, but I always wanted to fix it, because that's what I do. But you were always the first to remind me that I couldn't, and it was something you needed to do. We agreed from the beginning we'd be transparent to the world about your issues so that you could share your story, and that is exactly what we did, and I promise I'll continue to do it. I loved watching you being candid and not apologetic with an individual about your struggles and watching them react to your honesty. Those moments have always made me incredibly proud. This journey of getting you help led us to multiple states, multiple doctors, multiple placements, a variety of types of facilities and programs with various successes and outcomes. We all made the best decision at the time based on the information in front of us, always with your input being heard. I'm constantly grateful that we had the resources to follow the necessary paths to help you at times of need. The process of helping you taught me so much about what it is and what is out there and what is not out there for individuals with mental health issues. There truly is not enough support or resources. You were always certain that no one really got it and understood. I think you were right. As much as we always tried interventions and received various diagnoses, none of us could really imagine what was truly going on inside your head or the struggle that you faced on a daily basis. With that being said, you always tried your best. You summoned courage and dug deep when you needed to, but you also knew it was always a 50-50 shot if you'd be able to make an appointment, a trip, or join us for an outing or activity. As much as this frustrated all of us, we all learned to accept that this was just the reality for you. I'm so grateful, however, you did make it to our family wedding in June in Chicago, even though it was a day later than you were scheduled to arrive. This gave us the opportunity for both wonderful pictures and memories of us all dancing together. The tumultuous times of the last 6 to 7 years led me to have to lean on my colleagues, both at Hawthorne and at Anderson, many of whom are here today. One of the first things anyone who works with me learned instantly was that when you called, I always picked up the phone. Your dad and I always stepped out or away from what we were doing to talk to you. You did call Dad and I when you needed us to talk through things or calm yourself down and stop spinning inside of your head. But even better, I loved when you called to just say hi and check in and tell me something funny that had occurred. Over the past 2 weeks, however, I find myself desperately wishing you would have just called us one more time. You have touched so many people along the way in your life. As I went about Bozeman and saw someone we knew, one of the first questions out of everyone's mouth always was, "How's Ryan?" So many people cared about you here in Manhattan Beach and around the world. Everyone was touched by your story and your honesty as you faced your challenges and always cared how you were doing. This has been especially evident the past few weeks with the outpouring of support we have received. I wish you could have felt that a little more while you're still with us, but I truly hope you can feel it now in this room. Throughout your young adult life, one of the things you always struggled with and were really hard on yourself about is the fact you had so many educational opportunities that you were unable to take advantage of due to your mental health issues. You at times expressed incredible guilt that you had access to these opportunities and couldn't capitalize on them, and that others did not have those opportunities. It is for this reason your dad, Taylor, and I have chosen to create a scholarship in your name through the Shatek Scholarship Foundation. Where Bozeman is our home, Shatek has a special place in our heart for all our family and has for multiple generations. As you know, the students in Shatek do not have access to the same educational opportunities as you did for a variety of reasons, but often due to financial constraints. The goal of the scholarship will be to provide an educational opportunity to a student who wouldn't be able to take advantage of it without our financial assistance. I hope this idea will make you smile just a little bit and relieve some of that guilt you carried. This tragedy will affect our immediate and extended family greatly for the coming years. Your dad, Taylor, and I have seen and lost what we never should have. However, we'll be okay. As hard as this is for us to see right now. We will cherish the memories we've had with you. We will continue to smile at things we know would have made your face light up. We will dance on the back of the boat for you at the lake next summer. We will love Yeti just as you have and know how much she misses you every day. We also will laugh at things that would have made you just shake your head, half laughing with that sheepish grin on your face. Bubba, you will always be treasured and remembered by everyone you have touched in your short time with us. I love you lots and miss you more, Mom.
I want you all to rise. And I want you to imagine that you have wings. And if you can't do this, then imagine that you wear something like I do. Because we believe that this is like wings. We have a prayer that is called Mishaberach. It says, bring blessings, heal. If you don't know the words, I want you to hum. Because all we do here is that we spread our arms and wings and taluses around those people here in the front row. And all we do here is to say, You are loved. You are so loved. Thank you for the love you have given to Ryan. And now let all of us give you some love in return. Page 371, Mishebeach. Mishebeach Avoteinu Mekor habracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishebeach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen. And please remain standing. On the last page of that little flyer that Christy put together are the words of the Kaddish. The Kaddish we are saying for Ryan. And with every word of this prayer, we're helping Ryan's soul to rise and rise and rise and be at peace. Amen. Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabba Mevorach Leolam Ulalmei Almaya. Amen. Amen. Please be seated. Just hold this space. Look around for a moment. All the friends, the family, the love and the support. The Jacobs are grateful to be able to invite you all to join them at the house of the Werner family at 8374 Goldstein Lane, Bozeman, on the last page of your flyers. This is where they will wait for you. They're going to step outside of the synagogue in just a moment. The tradition has it that the rabbi is going to take this first step out of the house of the mourners at the end of the Shiva. You don't need me. There will be literally more than 100 to take these steps with you. And I am so grateful to see you in this way. So all I want to do before you leave, there's a song written by a young woman on the shore of Tveria. The words are very simple. My God, may those things never end. The water and its sounds, the sand, the rain as it touches the water, the prayer of the human soul. All things that Ryan loved. Eli, Eli. Eli, Eli, שלא ייגמר לעולם, החול והים, רישוש של המים, בהרק השמיים, תפילת האדם, החול והים, רישוש של המים, ברק השמיים, תפילת האדם, החול והים, רישוש